According to some names in the industry, Ubisoft, single-player games are dead and nobody wants them anymore. It's all about the live service these days, the multiplayer games that can retain players and keep them coming back day after day. A cursory glance at the best PS4 single-player games proves that is absolute nonsense. Sony have been really pushing to maintain the fun for solo players this generation, with most of their biggest and best exclusives geared towards offline play. In fact, the best PS4 only games are all single player in nature and are far more renowned than their live service or battle royale counterparts, which are almost never essential from day one. Single player games don't have that defect. They, by and large, ship complete and tell their stories without having to make compromises. Sony started slowly after the PS4 launch before really ramping it up with the single-player focused strategy consisting of fresh spins on beloved franchises, long-awaited sequels, and even new IP. They're still not through either, with The Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, and Tsushima still to come, possibly as cross-gen titles with the PS5. If you're tired of the way the industry is going, there's no shortage of brilliant single-player experiences for you to enjoy on your PlayStation 4. We've gone for an eclectic mix of first-person shooters, roguelike throwbacks, and open worlds in this list, but we're also excluding remasters for the sake of variety. So, no GTA 5 or The Last of Us 1. Sorry. Number 10. Horizon Zero Dawn. It says a lot that this brilliant game is so low on our countdown. You would have loved to have been in the room when Guerrilla pitched Horizon Zero Dawn to Sony. Okay, so it's not Killzone, but we're thinking of an open world with robot animals and tribes that's also post-apocalyptic. Thoughts? Such a bizarre concept should not work on paper, but it gets together so well in the final product. Basically Zelda meets Monster Hunter, Horizon Zero Dawn offers a gorgeous world to explore at your own pace with a great deal of wiggle room for role-playing. Want to be a solitary warrior who hunts to survive? You got it. We are bound to see many new entries in the series before long, possibly to coincide with the launch of the PlayStation 5. For now, though, HZD is a PS4 single-player game that's more than worth picking up on the cheap. Number 9. Uncharted 4. A few years after release, and few games have managed to even come as close to the beauty of Uncharted 4, a game so pretty that you could invite it out to dinner after staring at Nate's wrinkles for an hour and a half. In terms of gameplay, there's not much here to discuss if you've ever played an Uncharted game in the past, except for the exceptionally cool grappling hook. It's more about the spectacle, how close Naughty Dog can bring a video game to the cinema screen. There's also a great story here to uncover with fantastic performances at its centre. The dynamic between Nate and Sam is one of the most natural and lovable in all of gaming, as well as Rafe being someone who you just have to hit in the face with a heavy object so much that it compels you to keep playing to give him his comeuppance. Dick. Just look at him and his stupid hair and his face and everything. Number 8. Persona 5. Hey, you like going outside, talking to real people? Too bad, here comes Persona 5 to engulf your entire person. You belong to it now. Persona 5 is a highly stylish JRPG with over 100 hours of playtime, and that's just if you're in a bit of a rush. It's simply overflowing with content and patient storytelling. You could almost view it as two different games. One part social simulator and one part dungeon crawler, Persona 5 asks you to flip between building relationships during a school year and taking on beasties as your alter ego. There's a ton of flair and depth to its combat system, but you may just be tempted to keep pausing in and out to take in the best menu system in any video game. Persona is weird and not like much else out there, but that's why we love it. What's that smell? Us. Ah, yeah, the whole not going out in a month thing. Gotcha. Number 7. Marvel Spider-Man. While our childhood memories may tell us that Spider-Man 2 is the best adaptation of the web crawler to date, it's realistically the recent PS4 exclusive instead. It captures the slaw-jacked wonder of swinging around New York City while also adding plenty of new quirks. A technical beauty, Marvel Spider-Man boasts fairly deep combat that feels lifted straight out of movie cutscene. The cutscenes themselves are nothing short of gorgeous either. Adding to that, the storyline is surprisingly emotional and full of funny moments. There's a great wealth of content to be had with Spider-Man on PS4 as a brilliant throwback to when games were just games, as well as the ability to just swing around the city, never truly getting old. Now go and play this game or we will tell Spider-Cop.
The Chief never did understand Spider-Cop. Thought he was a loose cannon.
Number 6. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. From the minds behind Dark Souls and Bloodborne comes something that hates its players' mental well-being just like the rest of their games. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is a tough game that will damn you if you don't learn the value of patience. Sekiro is all about the art of combat, whereas Soulsborne is all about rolling until you can roll no more, which is only really a half joke. Please don't kill us Souls fans, it's just a joke. Using inch-perfect deflections and genuine strategies, you're able to become the ultimate shinobi. It's hard not to feel empowered when you can grapple from rooftop to rooftop. Sekiro also represents From embracing more story in their action games. Without wanting to spoil anything, it really is some of their more affecting and somber work yet. Many might give up before the narrative even really starts to unfold, but they shouldn't. The Guardian Ape is a straight up shit, and should bugger off though. Number 5. Resident Evil 2. Yeah, so before you start, this isn't a remaster, it's a remake. That is allowed, so don't start. There is a reason why there aren't that many remakes in gaming. You don't want to mess with the classics. Following the success of the GameCube remake of the original game, it was a long old wait before we finally saw the remake for the second game in the series. Our patience was rewarded with an utterly terrifying trip back to Raccoon City that stayed respectful of its origins while also bringing its new ideas to the fore. Purists may hate that the Resident Evil 2 remake smoothens out the original's less friendly aspects, but these just serve to make the zombies more of a terror than the outdated mechanics. With 4 different playthroughs to deal with and a bunch of extra side content that actually comes bundled with the game instead of as DLC, Resident Evil 2 is one of the best video game remakes ever, and a more than worthy refresh of a classic that may actually be superior to the original game. RE3 remake when? Number 4. Red Dead Redemption 2. Rockstar were radio silent for a long time on new games, them seemingly content with the mountain of gold that GTA Online had produced for them. Was Red Dead Redemption 2 worth the wait? And did it prove the developers still had it in them? Yes. Red Dead Redemption 2 may be the most expansive and ambitious single-player open-world game out there, it not afraid to do things very differently to its peers. While you could argue that some of them are flashy for the sake of being flashy, animated horse balls for instance, there's no denying that the breadth and scope of Red Dead Redemption is almost unmatched. It may also feature the best protagonist in any game to date. Arthur Morgan is a complex hero, someone who is a bad dude but has a lot of good in him. Once this epic is over, you just have to sit and absorb it all. If we had to pick between playing Red Dead Online and another adventure with Arthur, we know what we'd pick. Do wish we could skip the prologue a bit though. Number 3. Bloodborne. The most infamously punishing single-player PS4 game there is. Yes, even more so than Sekiro for our money. Bloodborne does allow you to depend on other players in some sticky situations, but true hunters stay the gruesome course all on their lonesome. Translation: don't be a puss bird. Bloodborne is part of the Soulsborne family, which means one thing: death. This Eldritchian horror is not for the faint of heart, but once you master the rhythm of combat and the necessity to be aggro over conservative, Bloodborne really comes alive. There are rumours of Bloodborne 2 at some point in the future that refuse to go away, but with the original now being down to a very fair price indeed, it's still a worthwhile purchase for those who haven't played it since it came out in 2015. It's okay, you have to face your fears. Number 2. God of War. God of War hasn't exactly been lacking in admirers since it released with more than a handful of awards to its name. It's a claim it deserves too, a technical powerhouse that uses every last drop of power the PS4 has to give it. Taking place entirely in one shot, think Birdman but sans the indulgent nonsense, God of War returns to Kratos, but not the Kratos of old who destroyed entire civilizations without blinking. A much more reserved character this time out, he takes on a quest to spread his wife's ashes and take some names in the process. The combat transitioning to an over-the-shoulder perspective may not have been endearing to everyone, but the overhaul makes God of War feel like something completely new and a successful refresh for the franchise. God of War may just be the best PS4 exclusive there is, and you could quite honestly swap it in this ranking with the next game, and few would blink. And number 1. The Witcher 3. Hailed as the best of its generation by many, alongside basically all of the superlatives and awards you can think of, The Witcher 3 is often held up as an example of the value of single-player games. An utterly gigantic adventure that will end all your social commitments if you allow it, The Witcher 3 is the final hurrah for Geralt of Rivia and, most impressively, so good that you don't need to have played the previous 2 games to enjoy it. While modern Western RPGs just keep on taking features out to streamline the experience, CD Projekt Red kept putting them back in. This is a dense, supremely layered RPG with questing that's the emphasis, not an afterthought. It'll be interesting to see if they can top this with Cyberpunk 2077, that's for sure. And that is our list of the top PS4 single-player games. Did you like the list? Did you agree or disagree? Please do let us know in the comments down below. But until then, please remember to hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel for more videos and reviews coming soon. Like all of the social medias on the screen, and if you want to keep it fresh, keep it bird-like, peck away at the subscribe button. Do it for me. Do it so I may breathe and live again and feel love for the first time in my life. Until then, caca.